there, my name is Dr. Katie Saint, and this video is about long-term happiness versus short-term happiness for your kids. So, a problem that a lot of parents fall into is struggling with the battle between making them happy in the moment versus teaching them skills that will make them happy long-term. So, I want to spell out what that looks like a little bit more. So, when we give in to our kids all the time, when we tell them yes as much as possible, we teach them to need that yes, and we get rid of their tolerance for no. We also increase their anxiety quite a bit. So, when a child is told yes all the time, their tolerance for not getting their way goes way down, which means when they don't get their way, their anxiety really raises. Another dynamic happens when this plays out. A child feels like they're in control. And if a child feels like they're in control, that also raises anxiety. We all have a biological need as a child to feel like our parents are in control, that our parents are the boss. Now, you might be looking at your kid and being like, oh, he does not have that biological desire. He wants control. He wants to be the boss. Behaviorally, they might act that way. But if you look at their anxiety levels, if you look at their behavior problems, that's going to show you the evidence that that is not working for them. That is not creating the best scenario for their mental health. So, if we want our kiddos' mental health to be at peak performance, we need to set boundaries. It's okay to tell them yes sometimes, absolutely. But they also have to hear no. They also have to have demands put on them, like chores or cleaning up after themselves. Things like that are critical for their development. And if a child, say, only has that in one environment, and then the other environment is a free for all, what you're going to see most likely is a big spike in problem behaviors and a big spike in anxiety transitioning back and forth to the different environments. You're probably going to see a lot more resistance to doing those non-preferred things in the different environments. So, making sure that both environments, whether it's two different homes or school or daycare, every environment that the child is in, the more consistent it can be, the easier it's going to be on your child and the lower their anxiety levels are going to be, because it creates this sort of calmness in them that I know the expectations in every environment. My world is predictable. When the child's in control, their world isn't predictable, because as much as parents want to give their children everything they can, you ultimately do still have to say no. So randomly, my parent who says yes all the time suddenly says no. So that causes an outrage. That causes me to be frustrated. That causes me to be dysregulated, right? Versus if we have more of that consistency where your expectations are clear and they don't change all the time, that's really going to help your child be consistent. So, another trap that parents fall into is making promises that they can't follow through with, or making threats that they can't follow through with. This is not good for your child's health, and this does not produce behavior outcomes that you're going to like. So, when we make promises that we're not going to follow through with, we teach our children not to trust us. We also teach our children they don't have to listen to us because we don't mean what they say. So make sure your words are consistent. Make sure that you're not threatening something that you can't follow through with. I know I've been in situations with parents, or even myself when I'm parenting, where you feel kind of desperate. Your kids are out of control, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I just need something to get them to listen to me. And so they're like, that's it. We're not going to grandma's, except for you're not actually going to take grandma away. So we got to think through these consequences. We can't threaten things that we're not going to take away. And we can't promise things that we're not going to give. Sure, I'll take you to Disney. Sure, we can go to Chicago tomorrow. Our kids are going to remember that, and they're going to feel bad, and they're going to feel betrayed when we don't follow through with it. So make sure you're consistent. Make sure your kids can trust your word, good or bad. This includes if they're eavesdropping on you. So often we assume our kiddos aren't listening, but man, do kids have good ears when we don't want them to, right? So be aware of when they're in earshot and what they might be hearing or even misinterpreting because they're only hearing part of the story. Following these strategies can really help reduce your child's anxiety and just help their behaviors across the board. If we can have consistency with setting boundaries, giving children expectations, and then praising them for the good, this is really going to help their behavior increase. Make sure all the environments match, keep our promises, keep our word, good and bad. This is going to help our child find peace, find regulation, and be better behaved in general. All right, I hope this helps. If you want support with this, please reach out to a therapy team and we can brainstorm some individual plans for you specifically. All right, thanks for listening.